Okay. Show me.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dutch CG channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. And the Eachine Wizard X220HV high voltage. The latest iteration of the freestyle quadcopter from Eachine. Now the previous model, the X220, was beyond popular. I'm sure Eachine / Banggood sold a lot of those. And this new version, the HV version, will be very popular as well. Yes, I'll tell you in this video why I think this is going to be a popular model. So that'll be my review part of this video. Also, I'm gonna tell you what you need to do to make this an actually good quadcopter. Because straight out of the box, it isn't a super duper quadcopter. It isn't a bad well, maybe, yeah, it's close to being a pretty bad quadcopter, straight out of the box. However, my modifications are simple, easy, you will be able to do them. It doesn't involve soldering or of any kind. If you have a hex driver for these screws, you can do it. And it doesn't cost any money. Right? So, okay, my review. First of all, I have two flight videos on this quadcopter already. A line of sight flying video and an FPV flying video. I'll link those in the description of this video if you want a closer look at those. So in this review video there will be no flying of any kind. I've had enough FPV and line of sight videos with this quadcopter already. Okay, my review of this, the Eachine Wizard X220HV. Is this a nice quadcopter? In fact, I think it's a very nice quadcopter, especially because the price is low. And you'll have to check out the current price because it changes every single day. But on most days it'll be a very inexpensive quadcopter. And that makes flying with this quadcopter very relaxing. Right? On a more expensive quadcopter you might be worried. Do you really want to crash it? You might, well, end up costing yourself another €100 or dollars. With this one, the Eachine Wizard, you aren't that worried to try new things. So actually a quadcopter like this will make you eventually a better pilot, because you tend to take more risks and learn more with a quadcopter like this. Also, again, while flying it, you are constantly reminded that, yeah, this is an inexpensive quadcopter, but a lot of fun nonetheless. So I've personally had a lot of fun with this quadcopter. Now that's not to say that it is a perfect quadcopter. It is not to say that it's the best quadcopter you can buy. Of course not. And especially not right out of the box. It's pretty annoying actually to fly. But with a few little tweaks you can have a very, very nice quadcopter. And I am flying this quadcopter on these lipos, the GNB 1100 6S, of course. This is a 6S quadcopter, and these are 130C. Well, yeah, probably maybe a 95C in reality, but still, these work out well. I've had GNB lipos before, and these delivered. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that these are a perfect match with this quadcopter. And I got both from Banggood, so that was convenient. I'll link these batteries in the description of this video as well. And as you can hopefully see, it is still perfectly flat and square. And I'm not sure how many flights I've done with this quad by now. I have 2 of these batteries. Approximately 40 flights by now, I think. Maybe a little less. 35. So 2 lipos and let's say 17 flights each, and they are like new kinda. I also like that this balance lead is very short. very nice. And this discharge lead is quite short, not too long either. I like that. Okay, so in short, if you are watching this video thinking you might want to pick up one of these quadcopters, so you clicked this video because you might be interested, then I'd say go and get one. You won't be disappointed, I think. Is that fair to say? I wasn't disappointed. Again, with a few little tweaks, this is a very nice quadcopter. So I'd say go and get one if you were interested in it already. So those are the positive things. Let's mention a couple of negative things on this quadcopter. The FPV camera. Now the FPV camera in the original X220, the Wizard X220, was horrible. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And this FPV camera on the new Wizard HV version is a lot better. This is a Foxeer camera. But I guess they got some kind of deal on an older Foxeer camera, and it's it's not the best FPV camera out there, but it is light years better than on the original Wizard 220. This is actually a usable camera, so you don't have to also order up another FPV camera to actually fly this quadcopter. However, the stupid thing with this FPV camera is that OSD is enabled. Here, let me show you. Here's a DVR recording from one of my flights. And as you can see at the bottom, you can see that Foxeer and around 5 volts and an on time. So from the moment you plug in the battery, that counter will. So yeah, that's the OSD the camera itself provides, and you can't shut that off. Well, you'd need a wire harness for this actual Foxeer camera to be able to, well. So basically, if you only have this quadcopter and no other tools, you can't shut that off. And it's not all that super duper annoying, but it's mostly just stupid, right? Yeah. And obviously Eachine or Banggood should have disabled the OSD in that camera. Oh well, the quadcopter is built at a price, right? So, okay. And the propellers, yeah, these are Dal props, the Cyclones version 2s, and they are good propellers, quite good actually. However, they don't suit this quadcopter all that well. You'd be better off with 50-40 propellers, and these are more racing propellers, if you will. You'd have longer flight times and a little more control if you go for a 50-40 propellers. But again, the propellers aren't bad at all, not at all, and they are quite durable as well. So that's definitely nice. Okay, then there's this FPV antenna. It actually works well, and the mounting, the angle is kind of perfect, so kudos for that. However, yeah, it's a copy of a TBS Triumph antenna, and I don't really like that. So I don't understand why Eachine does this. I don't think they'll sell one more quadcopter because this FPV antenna looks like a TBS Triumph, right? But yeah, it's a bit of a shame that they feel like doing that. And it's actually, it works just fine. I have no gripes with the performance of this antenna. Okay, the frame. Yeah, the frame has separate arms, right? So replaceable arms. They are narrow, as you see in a lot of modern quadcopters. However, they aren't the highest quality of arms, obviously. So these will break. Yeah, they will probably be quite cheap as well, and you'll have to look up the price. I'm not sure if they are already available, but they will be available eventually. And they will break right here. Right here and right here. Yeah, that's definitely a stress point over here. And there's no two ways around it. it's not super bad. On every quadcopter you can break the arms, but yeah, okay. So, and again, the arms will probably be very cheap as well. So if they are already available and you want to order this quadcopter, order up a couple of these arms as well. Alright, the last negative thing on this quadcopter, it doesn't come with a battery pad, no rubbery thing to keep your battery in place. So I've added these blocks of foam over here, and the straps that come with the quadcopter are actually good. They have some rubbery coating on them, so they actually keep the battery in place reasonably well. But as you can also see, these screws protrude out of the top plate, right? So if you wouldn't add these foam blocks, your battery would be squashed into these screws, which is not what you want. So yeah, that's a negative thing, that the quadcopter doesn't come with pads, these pads, and I don't understand why. I can't see those costing a whole lot. Maybe they just forgot about those. Yeah. That makes me wonder if Banggood / Eachine sent these out to pre-release testers. They would sure have mentioned that. Or maybe they were just missing in my package? I'm not sure. But it's not a big thing, of course. And again, that's my last negative thing about this quadcopter. So that's not too bad, right? Propellers that aren't optimal. And arms that will break, yeah. I have crashed this quadcopter and I haven't broken arms so far, but that's not to say that these arms will not break. And the motors are very good. They feel great. And oh yeah, the FPV antenna being a rip-off. So that's all the negative things on this quadcopter. That's okay, right? Could be worse. Okay, and then what modifications have I done and why? Alright, so let's see if I can intimidate you with how difficult the modifications are. The first thing you do is remove 8 screws, hex screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And after that you can simply lift off the entire top plate, yay! Revealing the quadcopter's inners. Now, one thing will be different in your quadcopter. Mine already has a receiver over here. And obviously the quadcopter doesn't come with a receiver stock. And okay, and that's it. And what you can also see is that my battery leads come out of the side of the quadcopter, whereas originally they came out of the rear of the quadcopter. Yeah, so Eachine, what Eachine has done is made a very clean quadcopter with no wires or anything sticking out. Even the solder pads for the motor wires are inside of the quadcopter, as you can see. They are located over here and over here. So no soldering points on the side of the quadcopter, which again makes for a very clean looking quadcopter. That's actually nice. Yeah, but that also creates electrical interference. This wire running over or underneath, I'm not completely sure, underneath I think the VTX, which is over here, creates electrical interference, and you'll see that in your FPV feed. And you probably know that most reviewers had a horrible FPV feed with this quadcopter. Yeah, so the first thing you want to do is route these wires to the side of your quadcopter. That'll make a difference. However, I've also removed this, the Bluetooth module which was stuck down over here at the rear, and it has a little connector. Again, no soldering required. You just unplug this Bluetooth thing, which you definitely do not need, and toss that to the side. Yeah. And the last thing I've removed is the LiPo buzzer and a little auxiliary LiPo. Now that's actually a nice device because it'll beep if your battery is ejected. So if your battery comes undone, disconnected in a crash, with this board the quadcopter will still beep, letting you know where it actually is. And I've removed it, yeah, simply because I didn't want the extra weight and the electrical interference this thing creates. It was located at below the VTX, so you'll have to remove these nylon screws, nylon washer things, and you can do that by hand, by the way, no tools required. Then you can remove this board, and again it has a plug. It is simply plugged into the flight controller over here, no tools required. Remove it, and what I do is I have the motors do the beeping, which is good enough for me. And with that all said and done, you've got a very well behaved quadcopter, no flips of death, because despite what other people might say, those flips of death are mostly due to electrical interference. And yeah, with my modifications, those electrical interferences are gone, making your quadcopter fly good and straight and have a nice FPV feed. A crystal clear FPV feed, which is what you want. You want to see where you're going, right? So, again, simple modifications. They don't cost anything. And, yeah, I hope they help you out, of course. Let me know what you think. I'm sure you are not intimidated by these changes. Anybody can do these modifications to the Wizard HV and have him or herself a great flying quadcopter. And that's my review slash how-to on this. Well, I think it's going to be a very popular quadcopter, so I hope you will be helped out with this video. Let me know in the comment section below. Maybe you are left with questions anyway, and I'll be happy to answer you, so leave me a question down there. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.